Welcome to Tech the Self. There you go. Well, maybe we can understand what is transitions, as I've been trying to promote the rules of role playing to virtual reality, so I can get uh, a stage or a scenario or a chapter in life where one can meet with a story that is to give the other part of the formula so it can work for virtual reality in the realms of technology. So we're moving forward with how the tech titans are coordinating their entities, they're merging some parts for some reasons. Eventually, when you all go to space, you will see how important it is to have a certain togetherness towards ultra space, and how are you going to accommodate all this business to assemble the parts of your bodies that you can make function as the world starts to become smaller and smaller, because people will be investing in the infinite. They will see how important it is to come together, to get more in outer space, to appreciate the vastness of this universe, the science behind it, that is most of a mystery to be explored, is to say, exploring the inner self, work in meditation, doing what you gotta do. But if you step back, really, you would see that it's much more convenient to not fight and to make these agreements forward, especially with me as well. So the word of the week is reflection, and today is the last day, is to say the first 7 days of the month, not because it's the first a week as a whole from Monday to Sunday. And the first week, I always try to talk about vibration or random, which is not so random because it's not like we're walking randomly, which is not thinking about walking because we already know how to walk. So it's like a knowing and not knowing at the same time. Not the same when you walk to, in your territory, in your scenario, or when you already have formulated a conjunction and it's juxtapoint. You have seen the puzzle so many times. You have no, as nebulous could form a universe or not. It doesn't mean because all these ideas are there and these vibes are there, this is going to happen or not. Yeah, some other people might want to fight forever and invest in the old ways because they think that's legitimate. Oh, well, go back to the cave then. Go back to the cave, sir. No, he's not coming. It's okay. Another middle ranger. So the moment you want to push somebody down that is giving you a job, the hand that feeds you, and you see that what, regardless of what you have been doing, nothing would have come to be without these pieces, putting these pieces together, because not you, neither of you had the advancement to bring these steps forward, because I have been immersed 24/7, because when I was working in a normal job, not middle class, but working class, lower class, I've been also not working as well. I've been assistant of therapy for 14 years, doing events, done all sorts of different jobs, fully into it. Nearly all of them had to do with role play. is a new juice from Innocent for those who are in the United Kingdom, and it has spirulina. It's supposed to be good for the brain. There you go. It has coconut water and passion fruit and spirulina. A dash, just a little. Pineapple. I don't know why they put banana. When you look in the synonymous in the website of the freetreasures.com, the algorithm that separates with branches. Well, I can show it here actually. Because there is too much arrogance to understand. So you have. So these are the branches here. I say is that up is the positive and below is more negative. And you can go there and check yourself. The algorithm will show that. Just like to have like in the background. There you go. So in reflection, we have above consideration and image, and below criticism and sending back indication. What I believe is that if you put all the branches of the neurology of the mental illness and the personality traits as well, it would branch by itself for each of us or for certain characters once you get the library of the character traits of each country. But for that, you have to get all the characters from each national library. They are relations among certain, they're not just mental illness, but personality traits. As a assistant of therapy for 14 years, I have never seen mental illness, even though my auntie, the big sister of my father, had schizophrenia. So it is normal to relate with schizophrenia from far away of the family. Whatever, I never met her, even though she was medicated and she studied with medication and she did her university. But there are relations for some mental illness that is normal. They would have OCPD, or some dyslexics could have OCPD because certain tendencies among certain character traits. With this, we can reflect and see way better how is formed a character through some understandings, and how is it the algorithm puts above the positive ones, as it would be mirroring, reflecting, consideration. And you can click on each one and it will display on and on. So for image, you also have counterpart, echo. It's quite interesting to image. So in China and in the school of mystery, in those who have uh, I don't know, I have to say, because some have reasonable. When they use a mirror, is to cast away the bad thoughts of people. So throwing back, casting back, mirroring. So sometimes when you are mirroring, you are casting away that spell or what that person said to you because they want to put that patch on you, which is a negative connotation to yourself, and nobody needs to be trashed with anyone's negative tags or adjectives or insults or negative diminishing values towards all your work and effort and the meaning of yourself, family, and continuing throughout your children and the progress of your work, because you're the only person who can deliver what you have elaborated. No one has ever elaborated that. You're not copying anyone because it's a creation of your own experience and satisfaction because I've done it for fun. That's in the contrary of many who do it for who just work for ambition and to be known and have a lobster backbone. So as we manifest, and you have to understand as well that there are people who believe in projection. Projection has nothing to do with reflection. So you have these people here that are projecting, but it does not mean that the environment is ready for that, or that the vibration at large beyond the scenario is ready for that projection that you're bringing. So if you see those who are with you, why are they with you, or why are not they supporting you, or why are they supporting you, then you can see, well, it's not a matter of reflection, it is a matter of projection, because they're just there to project. They are not there reflecting with the environment and the vibes. That's why they are hand from the beginning to the end, the vibration and the scenario as a wall, because the scenario you can see, okay, this is this territory, right? As we move on for the next week, that would be the 8th November, there will be another story talking from what goes within. And for that will be not today, but it's nearing. So it's a different part of the story. So today, King Charles been working in this store, and just now I got this because my daughter wanted a teddy bear, and I saw a teddy bear with a scarf. Makes no sense because in Venezuela it's so hot. It's the Caribbean, so we're in Harrods. And then was the guard of the palace with this jacket and big hat. In Venezuela, it's a republic, so, and it's hot. So, listen, I think this one. And the eyes, I really like the eyes. I was joking, so it was looks like the eyes of the King Charles. They're like puppy eyes. It was very nice to see Camilla with her dress of the coronation. I wish they were younger and they had no dramas, but people like to believe what people say, and people gather together with the same form of thinking. So that was the narrative they got until today. And there's many people who are proud to have them and have a king and a queen. And I love the idea just of a king or a queen. Yesterday I was looking at the Queen of Denmark, who invited the King of Spain and his wife, who is a queen in Spain. We call the married person also a king or a queen. and people know already who is the blue blood, uh, and the one who's going to reign in the throne. But it's the first time that we have children who are from non-married with royalty. So the Spanish people were commenting on that. It's the first time we're having non-pure royal blood. They are more honest. What they call roots here. So the princess was looking kind of like down at Letizia. Letizia was kind of like, because it's different. They were born. Their childhood was naturally. Is their endeavor? Is their vibe from the belly of their mother? And it has a lot to do psychologically. We do hypnosis, and some people can go deep into the memory of when you were in the belly of your mother to remember that moment, and it has so much to do. I did it many times with many therapists because I was assistant of therapy, and my mother brought them. So I could I could go so far and even change it because I've been rebirthing many times. Just let me birth however I want now. Because I didn't want to be born. I was born through cesarean. Um, I was provoked because my mom wanted to work after the weekend. So I was provoked to be born on a Friday. So I was like, hey, like, don't, So, and then later, because on those times was fashion. It became a fashion. It does not exist anymore unless it's an emergency to provoke birth with chemicals. Like now, in the future, there won't be any children being put into these weird doctors' ideas and certain people as to just forget it. Forget it. As the more they get out of the tissue of society, the better. These are wrong ideas. So it has a lot to do. I remember my mother was very powerful in her own work, and she was the boss. Oh, so I remember feeling very safe, and that everything was taken care, very secure, and a lot of energy back and forth. So there is a beauty of learning from the hierarchy and honoring a mirror towards us, because it's showing us again and again our inner authority. When you see somebody that likes authority, they also love their inner authority as well. It's a reflection. When you're watching a movie, I normally always look in the back because I like to see what people are reflecting from the reflection of the light in the screen. It's only lights moving there, but people get affected with emotion, with the motion that's moving through this movement of storytelling and all these strings moving, and colors and shapes and why these values and to get things. So, and what they get, some people do it, they get a rush, right? Some people get it because it's a game. It's not so much that they want to win, because they always win. I explain people hackers don't take your money because they just want to. They're players, who got this information. Is a continuous rush of adrenaline, so it's a never-ending game. But it's not so much of winning because you get to a stage where so much play that you want to get more people to play, and you enjoy to watch the effect. That is what a reflection is, because you know where the ball is coming, so you have a reflex there. You might do it spontaneously, even if the ball doesn't come, because it was maybe the shadow of the ball, and it was an impression. So there, you're ready to shoot the ball. But manifesting does not mean that you are going to kick that ball. Oh, manifest. No, honey, you have to manifest that you're going to kick the ball. You're going to go there to the field, go to the board game, yeah, get all these people to shoot the ball, and they go around there and kick it. In that moment, we'll see how is your manifestation kicking off, right? Good, bravo. That then it's positive, it makes sense, it's getting. I said, no, I don't believe in projecting. I am this, I'm going to be this, because people can perceive that as well. There is no one stupid on this earth that is going to say, oh yes, you are that because you say it all the time. The brain is always going to create a counterpart saying no because of that. It's going to wake him back. So that's how people get schizophrenic situations. That is when people get yes and no. What one has to move beyond this, and it clicks on you. It's something that goes click, and you get it. That's it. It switch off, and you see the whole yes and no magnetism situation from all of these relations that create a lot of energy, the opposites. I've fought many times in role play. None of you know role play. It's not that I'm going to go to ARC and write a letter there. I'm writing so many letters that made waves around the world because I hit it on the right person character to flow. Then you want that spiral to just go south like a tornado and break through with storms if it's necessarily, because you just being there, right there, and it's just got there, and there it goes by itself. Now, where is it gonna stop? So it's not that you're gonna be ruminating or contemplating there, because that's already putting energy there. You are putting your mind there. You're going, yeah, you're contemplating, you're putting focus energy there. As my master Osho would say, that's not a state of meditation. And it's true. You're not on the climax of it all. Yeah. So you can reach that climax and maintain there. And you can also practice. There are many techniques, meditation and interactive role play that you learn in therapy groups that makes you return back to certain characteristics and genders and points of view, to go back to some memories that appear by itself. There's a chain of events that carry the same pattern, emotional transit. So with this, you see the beauty of what I'm bringing to the table. And that is a reflection of yours to take or not. So you're projecting, you are ungrateful. You're asking this person to be grateful, and you're calling this person ungrateful. That might be another one of your projections, because that's not a state of a reflection. When you are mirroring, even in your own silence, people flower and bloom and can reflect by themselves as well. People can transcend and see by themselves. This is a step of awareness. So we're having in the National Library of the British Library this event of fantasia and realms of imagination, and we're having a display where at the end they want to talk about gaming and crossing over. So they just got information and made a book. But I'm not going to share this for free. Never, ever, at all. And I'm not here to be hired by anyone. I don't want any position or any titles or anything that you might want to distract yourself, to make yourself reason on your own accord, because I have nothing of yours that I want. I only want money, and give this formula with the agreement that it says the percentage, and that percentage I have in my own clauses. Why is it for, and what is it for me within that percentage? That is for the mediators of mansions into villages that are citizens. So this comes from day one, from here, from Tech the Self, Tech myself, Patricia Placencia. Next week, you will see privacies. Privacies is an internal insight, of course, and to understand where we're moving for is to reflect before we step in, during the moment that we're crossing over and entering. How is this transition moving as we enter the month of November? That's been already opening up and working pretty well for many. Congratulations. I wish you were younger. I wish Lady D was alive and was not a big deal. I wish Lady D was old and ugly and she was happy as well. And when you're old, you look at all the old people beautiful because you're also old. So you appreciate your own wrinkles and your own beauties and facial expressions and how you made it, and you have other understandings. So for storytelling is beautiful. I was thinking as well, oh, well, now we will have kings and queens that are very old, because our generations are not dying young as before. Even a drug addict can last for many years nowadays, well measured. I mean, drug addiction is not, people are not used to take drugs. Like some people still don't know how to take drugs, but that's addiction, which is another problem. It's hard to suffer. It's harder to suffer and stick with your suffering and just look at it, not think around it. Because thinking is also another aberration, another wanting to know the truth, to fight with the truth. That's not the highest truth of all. The highest truth of all is silence. In Christianity, we call it peacefulness, the highest state of all. In other cultures, I might call it enlightenment. So I really love to have got this book. I'm going to go home and read it. I'm going to make a letter for the day of today, a memorable day, and just put it, stick it here and sew it. I don't know if to send it to my daughter or keep it for me, because maybe it needs more energy here with me to simply just because I like it. I will think about it. I like it so much, but it has to be only one, so it's not like we're gonna have many teddy bears of the king. Just one is good enough. So 7th of November at 7:24, mirroring. A reflection. We use a lot of mirroring in therapy, and I've never wanted really to be a therapist. Like me having to fix people's traumas. Hello, they never learn. They just come here to. We have nothing to do, man. We're fools. I'm so naughty, and I have so many ideas to do naughty in a good way, because when you be naughty, you're gonna do things that are abnormal, if not abhorrent, by society, because these are things that you might do a lot of mistakes, and mistakes that will take you to consider that's how it works, and that's doesn't work like that. We've done this 300 times, 18 times by 360 times. So we've done all these mistakes for 18 years. We've seen it happen again and again and again and again and again. On. So that's why I know how it works. Not only that, none of the role players know, because none have the education and the career that I had, and the lack of empathy. The lack of empathy is primordial to never get the formula. But my level of empathy is of a true maths, genius. Is to say, you have to be a little bit of a genius to think you're gonna get something worth it out of it. And follow your intuition, because somewhere around, there is something. And you wouldn't be an explorer anyways. You wouldn't be a person of action. You wouldn't be a person that's daring. So I was always with my first daughter. Come on, catch the ball! Catch the ball! So in the bicycle too, come on! So I've learned that not everyone has that. Nobody is made to toughen up. Not everyone has the same strengths as to endure and walk through and cross over. So you can write about crossing over, but you don't know what you are talking about. That nobody knows being written, it's okay, because nobody knows. Yeah? Nobody knows. Not in video games. It's not like that. Yeah? This is what we've been here talking about, the war of the weak and the transitions. Yeah? And if you want to insult me or say that I'm Machiavellian because you are thinking ahead how you're going to enter in a stage, because you have a script, a play, and it's not that you are going to manipulate people, because you want to get what you want. Well, there's a prediction there that this might happen, and probably if I go in this direction, there's more probabilities. Now, you will always have a yes and a no if that has never been done before. And the olds will always say no, because they will always want to turn to the conservative and what's known. And obviously, it will want to protect itself as it's well known. What everybody does is supported, is well known, yes. And I am this, and I am that, I am this. Well, when I say that I have been an assistant of therapy and a role player, and in many types of role playing, that it's like secret intelligence as well, independently, without working for any agency, because just sending information, you're getting into places no one is getting. And anyways, who's gonna go there anyways? Government can be everywhere, right? And agents have to do what the government wants. Why? Well, they get a safe paycheck. Yeah? What is it? Is to serve their ideals. But what if you go wherever you want to find what nobody knows? There will always be uncertainty. Thankfully, there always will be a mystery for us. And that's one of the most appreciated materials within the realms of spirituality, the mystery of life. The mystery, some call it Akasha records, some don't even want to look into it because they know it. It's a joke, because you see that the elements that we can withhold as humans are so related with the material world, the concrete world. What is the threshold that separates one from another? So with this, we will enter with the week of privacies, how important it is. Because you may say, oh, maybe all these people are not liking me, but what matters right now is that you are touching the ones who have more power to band together, to invest in you, to trust that you can do it together. The top ones, or the rest of the world, from the fantasy world to the real life. I love the illustrations. Well, the fantasies of King Arthur, there will always be in the books of fantasies. And it's funny because they also sell Merlin in the stores where you find stories of kings and queens here in our kingdom, and then you see Merlin there. Has nothing to do with King Arthur, and has nothing to do with fantasy, but there is Merlin there to put in the fridge, in a magnet. Characters as people speak about is a reflection. No, he doesn't exist. But certain people, I love to talk with strangers because their mind is more open than when you're talking with somebody that knows you, because they think they know you. And You're talking about Sherlock Holmes, and people relate about Sherlock Holmes, as you know Sherlock Holmes, as if he's a celebrity that exists. And then after some time, because we are in Paddington Station, it is the station of Sherlock Holmes, uh, and they mentioned, yeah, Baker Street, blah, 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 and this and that. I said, but he doesn't say it exists. Uh, and then you look at the person, like we're talking about a person that doesn't exist. And I like to see the reflection of the people when I talk about certain characters that have never existed. And they look at me like, but you brought this conversation first. Like, don't betray me. Don't look at me that way. What do you expect me to look like for you? Yeah, what can I say? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wish we're starting to have a nice little chat. And then I explain them again, like, "Oh, I'm sorry. It's just always the same. I have seen this pattern. It's always the same." So, yeah, he does take the station to go to the mansions to figure the mysteries. So I have to keep with the reality of the fantasy world of Sherlock Holmes, which we have shared watching his movie series or books. And even though I have read Agatha Christie most when I was a child, that was my favorite. And you see when the tissue of reality is going to break, because you are suddenly saying it does not exist. It does not exist. And then back again. Because the person wants to be more with the story of Sherlock Holmes, talking with someone that knows Sherlock Holmes, because we are in the scenario of Paddington Station. And it makes us feel more valuable, more important. There is a story behind us as characters, that we are humans passing and meeting in a station. So that moment of reflection, that because what do you want from a little chat? You will want to reflect upon it and then think about it. Maybe just take later those cards and shuffle them and see, well, they will have this pattern. So I may have to keep up with the story and bring something else. And then I add, well, it was here in London where the first detective came. The school of detectives came here thanks to the scientists and how to elaborate the reasons of putting all these clues together, because the police and guardian was not good enough. And they say, yes, yes, and we are here. Okay, I have to reflect as well as they reflect on me if I will continue with the story. So when we are elaborating these stories, as if we might go in life, in a real life, to embark in an adventure that we're bringing values, in the same sense, we're doing this on fantasy worlds of virtual reality. Look, Patricia McKillip, Umbria in Shadow, winner of the World Fantasy Award for Best Novel. And the cover was made in the 2014 Fantasy Masterworks reissue. Will be there, Patricia Placencia, like my father would always say. Patricia Placencia. En la cartelera de los teatros de cine, like in the cinema theaters, my name. And I was like, oh God, my father has so much expectations over me. Thanks God he's dead. Do not look at me right now with the tyrannous. because that is a covenant. The covenant is to get this agreement and insult this person, get all these people together to fight this. So you have to sacrifice. I do not believe in sacrifice at all, nor my family, nor my religious causes, nor my spiritual path at all. All those who believe in sacrifice, in pedophilia, and war, spit them away. Not cut them, but spit them away. Not cast them away or mirror or reflect on them. Just spit on them. Which is very vulgar, and that's why I love it. So, so I've never done that, but I've seen it. And sometimes when I'm walking alone, I love to spit. I spit in the ground. But as I say, oh, just think about something that you will wish to spit on. Yeah, because you're gonna make a ritual around it. You're gonna spit, right? Oh, I don't like that. And you just spit. And some people know how to spit. It's very cruel to see people spitting on people's faces. That's too like, rampant. Eh. So you can congregate to punish people who have done nothing wrong because it's a belief. Yeah. So you might say, "Oh, look how good my daughter has come. It has not been so bad to rape her. Look at her eyes. She's always like, why did you do that to me when I trusted you?" Yeah. Where do you think all this sickness and illness comes from? So there is a big gap there that's not meeting the cells of reality there. Yeah. So you have a gaslight wife, a rape daughter, and physical sickness there because it's not connected to understand. Separating the bad and then congregating the badness to not look at that reality. So these are not forming the constitution of the body with the truth, the reality, what composes its scenario as such. You can go on and on telling stories to people to make believe that you are a good person. But the very moment that you want to bring somebody down because it knows more than you, and you want to say beyond psychologists, psychiatrists, and professionals, what they said, for example, if I have psychiatric traits, it's because they had to put me traits, but not because I have mental illness. There's no psychiatrist or doctor that said that I have mental illness at all. So they had to put traits there. And I will know all my stories. I will know all my stories. Because I'm a nobody. And I know what I do very well. And why. So I am here to remind you that I'm not going to go to you to get a job from you. I am here because I have my job. You have your job. And that's pretty it. Yeah. So that's my privacy of information. That is your privacy of information. I'm not insulting you. I'm not bringing problems to the table. I'm bringing a lot of money to many and solutions, because that's what I was taught to do in my school, my parents. You see a problem, solve it. That's what you study. That's what we're living in this paradise. That's why we keep cheering the cup that never stops cheering. And that's a state of heaven. a heavenly state. So in the school of mystery, that is a privacy as well that has to be respected, and there is more enigma behind it that is way more attractive to honor with everyone on the other side, with every other one on the other side, with the other in their own privacy, in their own culture, in their own entity business. That is their contrast and beauty as well. So we deeply care for our environment in a private sense. For that, we like to surround ourselves by nourishing this environment. As women, we are more relatable to that and much more engaging. So as if I'm with my big daughter, we will feel terrible because we're not nourishing each other every day, every other weekend. We are not nourishing as humans do. We are separated in different continents, in different scenarios, with different vibes, with devices. It's totally unnatural. It's totally unnatural. And those are parts to reflect when sometimes one says, oh, I've moved beyond my family. Whatever it was forced or I wanted it. I have created genius inventions with my daughter, so I 100% believe that a woman can work and still have ideas as any intelligent person can. And many, I don't think many, but every human being has that potential. That instead of making trash, they can make beautiful architectures and marble statues in buildings and pieces of art that can portray a different aura that is these blocks. It's just done like industry there. Just go. No art, no information there, no this there. And then on the other part of the world, we have misery, poverty, not enough cognitive interplay with human beings to talk with each other, to create wealth, or the basic human rights of understanding. Am I going to listen to the Jews and the Muslim? No, no. Most of the people will. There you go. There, go listen to that. That's what you make money from. So, to talk with something that is relevant, just we'll need Everest task, as Osho said, to and many generations for the Muslim world to adapt, because they don't have to be like other cultures, but to understand a level of education and respect and understanding. And the Jews too. Not all the Jews, but the ones who are in Israel especially. So I don't think the Muslims are very easy because they are supported by the Muslims in Jordan and the Middle East. And I have reported, but I did not have that evidence. But they do have a melancholy from a storyline of a land that they think is a paradise and that was stolen. So they believe in that. It's a shared mental illness, a shared psychosis. And also from the Jews. You have to be very crazy to think that is your reason to be alive, to fight for paradise. You have to be absolutely fixated And of course, doing all that all the time since you're born until you're gonna die, and all these ancestors, and on and on and on and on, and then that's it. That's their story. And it's war, crash, one die more than the other. And then what? Because at the end, you're gonna have the psychotic Jews, and if the Muslim win, they will be the psychotic Muslim. But they're both magnanimous, talking character. Like, I might role play characters because I'm an artist and understand, but I'm not stuck in character. Yeah. As to kill an innocent children or defend myself so this doesn't happen anymore. So it's going to take an Everest task, and Osho said it. It's going to take to see 4 generations of these certain countries, because not every Muslim country, but they do share more or less, but not everyone should be hated because they're Muslim. They're wonderful people around the world of any religion, as Muslims as well, and Jews and Christians. And we should never be talking about this because there is a lot to do, like talking about 𝙤𝙤𝙪𝙧𝙞𝙪 in the fantasy world. And how could you decode a character? How could you create in your own without caring about all this? So you need to know how to mediate and allow other people to see the zigzag and the compositions that get to conquer those regions until it's all. But what was the point of the Spanish Catholic kings taking all the Muslims out of Spain or converting them to Christianism? What was the point? And now all these Muslims in Europe and United Kingdom. So how are we going to dance celebrate? Yeah, because they're attacking constantly. They're attacking. They're taking over. They want to take over here. They took over my house. They're stealing all my things in the work as well. Everywhere I go, but I am among purposely. I have come purposely to report how it is, because the very rich could care less, and the middle class are too busy because they want to be more than what they think they are, because they don't love themselves. They want to be somebody else they're not. They want to have more. They want to take over other people's positions. They want to fight. They want to convince people they are something they are not, because they're not living in the present. They're not enjoying the present. And the high class could care less, because I know I was raised as such. So that's why I'm here in behalf of taking the voice for those who do not have it. And on this case is calling for the collective to make these laws as well, to start deporting people that are not behaving well. And I am going to be talking about this because I'm studying what it is to pass a test to become a British citizen. And that, I guess, you do in the United States of America, Canada, in any European country, to be civilized, respect the culture. Like, oh my God, that's not a protest. I was feeling for the policemen. Like, wow, like I felt like they were my children, they could die. Yeah. I can tell my daughter I'm dead, but it's not the first time I've told her that. It's like the highest relaxation. Just like grow up. Yeah. But somehow I want her to touch higher than just to be mediocre manipulations. I've never even been like that when I was a child. But your children are not yours. They're not 100% yours. You have them with another person who had other families there too. So you're relating with a non-person that is itself. And a reflection that is for you as well, as this is my space. This is sacred. Every human that represents a member of my family is to be respected, and more you that I'm a member of the family. Otherwise, go and never return, because it should never happen. And people would do that for scandal, for money, to make publicity from mouth to mouth. That I can understand, because it's funny, because it's theatrical, whatever. It makes more impact to do other stuff that matter for the world, and it can resound. Whatever is with malevolence causes or not, it has a positive connotation for those who want to take it, great. But like this, like, come on. How are you going to reflect? Like, do you really want to sneeze however you want? Go and do sneeze however you want. Go and bring your discourse to everyone. But people know that. So in roleplay, we have certain, it's not the same than playing video games or reading books, but we have certain verses that people like to play more and to reflect on it. You're always welcome to connect and reach me. And you will see how the protagonist starts to decompose, because you have to die if you have to understand there is another person acting their own story that is not to please you. That's role play. There's not a main character leader. Yes, there is, in a way, because people need to have a tower of control. They need to have a king. They need to have a center where they gather the information, where the final decision was made, to have an orientation. No matter how randomly it is, people more or less like to have someone who cares for the family. Yeah. It is not just everyone taking care of their family. It's just certain cycles in life that can allow us to enjoy a little bit of everything, if so for those who are lucky in a lifetime to also gather enough time to be alone and get to enjoy that. If you have children of that state, even better, because the children of today, of tomorrow, want to be born with that state of fulfillment. But for that, mother needs space to be with them and take care of them. It's very sad to watch children going so early to kindergarten. That's another social issue where mothers can work with their children at home or together until they're 7, but to be with them. There's no little kid that wants to go to a kindergarten. Some people say until the age of 3 at least. I say until the age of 7 if possible. As many other great thinkers. And who wants to be working anyways without your children? Where's the point of being a mother then? Oh, unless it's a government agency who makes money by taking children away from their mothers for whatever reason they make. Doesn't matter if you're a work person, you're healthy, and you take care. The father. No. So that's a big reflection of a dynasty that, from imagination to turning your world into the reality of understanding the elements that we are treating on Mother Earth. Only like that we can start next month to talk about multiplication, which starts on the first week of December with a vibe of multiplying. I wish by then and before then, their agreement has come forward with intelligence of its own to say, hey, Patricia, Placencia, we are here. Let us investigate with you what you're bringing to us, because we need to move on, and let's do this as you are proposing. And we believe that you have already shown us a vast display of so many ideas that you've been taking for granted without being grateful to me. To pay is to honor. And that's what my main character would say all the time, with all the hatefulness of this character, to pay Charon, the ferryman. Pay Charon. If you want to write, pay Charon. Charon, 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 the ferryman. So I want the person touch, and that is going to mansions into villages. And of course, there has to be there the human rights for freedom of expression. Because how are you going to do, how are you going to do, how are you going to do a role play in real life that is mansion into villages with mediators, sponsoring influencers and people of the world, people that work in any corner of the world, in any location, being a manager? They can have a mansion to a village that is their country house where they go holiday. With internet, they can report back and forth because they understand how is the system. And the big companies can as well be part of putting their emblem, their brand. Why are you going to kill a brand when a brand can embrace to the greatest platform that can help each other? Because great companies, international chain companies, can also learn to mediate. By mediating to fix these recycling problems, by mediating and not having everyone fighting and a person is bringing an idea, and algorithm is going to reject creative people that they already created this algorithm. So they pick people that won't sue them. In McDonald's. But it's not about suing people, it's about understanding each other before people are pushed away or feel like scapegoats. You just bring to light that which needs to be done. Because people don't know how to talk in order to do things together. These are the people that are in public schools. So you cannot talk to do anything as such. And we're trying to move into this, because then you have the middle class who's manifesting all the time because they're publicizing themselves, because they want to be greater than what they are, or they want to be somebody else, or tomorrow they're never in the present. They want it's like, hey, here, we're here. We're here. So you frame these bridges and can see the importance for everyone to be granted the respect and the space to communicate frankly, honestly, truthfully, and how important it is for the tissue of reality. You want to call it the tissue of society? I have called for civilians to take responsibility as well. And why? It was that movement that went all around the world. So I am hiring you, and you wanted it, that job, above all things. There's many other people who have better roles in their own fields, but you can understand their privacy there because they can do that. 'Cause you've been doing that because the greatest role for you. And then there you are manifesting powerfully. And is that chilling intimacy? No, because you're talking to the average, most of the people. So it's not like a chilly intimacy. It's just a global expression there for everyone to reflect together. Like watching a soccer game, football game. Yeah, everybody already knows that there's only one who's going to win. Nobody's going to go. It's predicted one is going to win from the match, and this is what agree, and that's perfect, and that's great, and that's for the average. There you go. So you're not going to sacrifice one thing for the other because you believe in sacrifices, and you're thinking, what are you going to sacrifice and give away from the lesser? Meanwhile, you're being autodestructive, and there's no need to. When there is so much work to do. For the caveman, yes, go there. There's the line there. From this time on, you are there. I am here. I come from the future. I'm telling you, we have this. Hello, attention. This is going on. Yes, the sunlight is always there every day. You can also switch the light and it's on. Now, let's move on. Yes, it's good enough. And it's not a matter of me being happier or you being satisfied or the other person being pleased or society and other people. Because at the end of the day, they're all jerks. Who cares? If you don't do what people say, it's never going to work. So, the rules of role play into virtual reality, they are fantasy worlds or fictional worlds. Some people might call it metaphysical. You could go on, and you can also call it schizophrenic if you come back and you're stuck in character. Because you will start, everyone will want to kill your character, a character that you have felt is you, but it's not you. And then you will see a bunch of problems there if you get stuck in character. Because people are choosing you to be this character as well. But in reality, you're not. In reality, you are another idiot, another person that's copying what the books say. One of so many who do that and just talk what they read. So it's, of course, educating people. Well, in role play, people just go play, they learn themselves. And that's it. You'll watch. But it takes a degree of putting down to legal form. That's why there's a law for psychiatry, there's a law for the medical school, there's laws for science that have been accepted, and there is no trap. That is the truth. That is a reality that's been conformed, is a law. This happens because of this. That's it. And this is to prevent further problems from the human's psychic. Not just because they are doctors or scientists, but because it's protected with the government as well. So one thing is to embrace the settings, to have the reflection, okay, these colors, these traits, this. And another thing is to being lost in a video game and doing what people tell you to do because they have done the engineering. And there is nothing to go crazy because you're not crossing over, you're not being creative, you're not using your own intelligence, you're not creating storyline, you have no narrative of your fucking own at all, no beauty of your own, none the people that surrounds you, because you're all in your head, you're not moving your body in order to transform into that, to create, to be a creator, a doer. Then you can manifest something that's beyond you, not for you, because you want to manifest, because you want to be this. No, nor this, nor that, nor the other, but for something greater that is part of not just the vibration, but you want to take over and dominate the scenario and beyond. And it's not you, through you. You know, then from the unseen and observing and having that reflection, because the other one too sees himself there. Hey, yes, I want to be a creator. I don't know what really, I just want to create. And that is the sense of power that you can do it. Now, for that, you have to be a player, a creator, a lover. In a lover, in the spiritual context, can be a lover through the arts, a lover through the atmosphere, a lover through breathing and sending a wave, a lover through getting to portray yourself, the other, inside a canvas. And be there remembered forever. And there you have other sketches and other movements that have been together and have fade in and fade out, creating a story, not a repetitive sketch that goes on and on and on and on and on through the end to the beginning to the end. That can continue, but you have brought passage for many to rediscover themselves. And that is not being many people or multifacetical or changing or flipping. But one thing is to explain what's role play. Another thing is to be straightforward, telling you what is a writer, that you need to create many characters as well. Feel for their psychology as well and the relations to the mysteries of the story that will hook you. Otherwise, why would you listen to me? Because I have not told you the end. I have not given you the full formula. Why? You can judge these fingers or these other fingers or the mudras. The peace. The peace mudra is a mudra that also sends back the bad influences or ideas. Is a mudra in India and China. This is peace, but it's also a protector from bad energy influencers. Because I am here not so you can create more content or pick on a word. I'm not interested in anyone. I'm just interested in a few cats, and each one know already what they do, what they're doing. Whoever is taking form in a monopoly, we can see they have not come forward. They have stolen these ideas, and the other ones are stealing as well because they're afraid to come forward. But the having schizophrenia, yes, no, 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 because yes, because no, yes, no, yeah, no, 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 yes, 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 yes. Let's manipulate, let's make believe this because this is what we say, this is what we want, let's compress. So then you won't have the solution when you need everyone. But it's very important in the future outcome to relate from 300 chapters that can correlate with the zigzag yes and no's to bring interconnection with the people, to learn to mediate as well. So how are you going to change your monologue? And the opposite of yours going to change your monologue to get into understanding the privacy or cultural shared psychosis from these people and the other ones as well. Yes, it's beautiful. We need all these cultures around the world. Of course we do, and respect them fairly enough. We don't need people to be universal. But for the human rights, and to have a respectful orientation towards what is making a better world for these main needs that people, I mean, some people need water. I had a super smoothie. I have needs. I need my children. I don't need my daughter to be all depressed and just going with all this. I can take the uncertainty. She can't. So she will drive me into her own, and will try to resist. And for that, it's better nothing. So I'm asking for my creation to roll while other people need water, to have better food, to have no other people playing with their life because they're playing with bombs, because they believe in these other stories of communism, and they believe that, excuse me, are you talking about democracy? I'm here talking alone. Since I sent this woman, is that the world we're living in, or I'm being used as a pawn? Because I'm a player, and I know, because I put myself to do this, but it's good enough. And that is influencing oneself consciously, taking that responsibility. So that is true. And what is not true cannot be brought. I wish you understand what is truthfulness. If you need the poorest people and most ignorant people of this world to support you, they won't be able to make it happen for you. But maybe those who you hate most because they are intelligent, more maybe than you are, because they will say, this method is way better than yours, which is full of viruses, for example. Right? Where you know these pedophiles anyways? Yeah, I know. You all get agree. Great. Oh, because we old men think in this way, you have to have one of these to understand. Well, whatever you have consciousness about your body. My mother said, enjoy your life because you don't want to become an old pervert. Yeah? So do good to yourself. Do good to yourself. Respect other people's boundaries. Your freedom ends where the freedom of the other finishes. Those were the teachings of my mother and my father. Obviously, he didn't say it because he knew my mother would say it. So that was her word, and my father would respect what is your words in the family. So that's her word. He would support that, but they got together because they share these values. You might be incompetent to share these values, but you must respect there are other people there who have these values of freedom and respecting other people's work and ethics towards their own work and creation. That's a good reflection to have. But the cost of this is many will continue writing books because it's more important to sell books and to be doing videos online and to keep the consumption instead of entering into creating something new or people to see how it works, this interplay. So people can be writing around it again and again. They will never get it, really. It will maybe get in 300 years. People that have work in meditation, but I've seen many people that have work in meditation, but they die with cancer. They don't get it. They say, but look, what if it's these are difficult times to see how sickness works. And the sickness is asking you to listen because something is missing. You're not listening to your body, to the entity of your body. Listening to your body, what it needs. That gentleness is one of the greatest gifts humanity can share with each other. Wilderness, violence as well. Yes, all these adrenaline pushers, of course, to keep the alarm and this action there and all the senses. Hype. It makes you reflect with multiple dimensions as well, because you have so many senses and skills as well. There's forms of dyslexia because it's crossing boundaries. There is no left and right there. It's another dimension. So you can swing into a nightmare and suddenly have dreams as well. Dreams, because you wish and you have desired that. You wanted it and you are having it in the dream. And nightmares. Your greatest fears and sorrows. Yeah. So don't let anyone push you down because of any of those. Um, it's funny because people make stories out of things they don't know. Playing with uncanny and setting worlds in video games. Chris Gardiner. And it's beautiful. I would like to honor Richard Savina, and I wish for him to be known as well. And I would wish him to listen to my formula as well, because he didn't get to hear it. He knows I have innovated with many ideas and just playing as other people have brought tendencies. So it's beautiful to embrace one another. I was the other day, more than having a reflection, because the week of reflection has passed and I wanted to see past So in these last days of the week, instead of starting with the word of the week, it changes totally. When we would talk and discuss, let's talk in past mode, past verb. Let's bring this story in future present. So let's talk in this verb. We're moving all the stories. We have different angles to talk and share this story from. So, and I will reflect to him, and he will reflect to the board, because he was a better writer than me. But I was a better script writer. I had the story. I had the, but I would gather from the board as well. Reinvent from him, from what I have gathered there. To listen from this or that, and everyone bringing their own, and at the same time being a spectators of other place. And that's part of a collective reflection when you're sharing that magnetic field. So you get to have that when you experience that. There are so many role players could tell you this, but none had experienced what some of us have. Now, to understand a world of imagination that is being shared is understanding what we can do in real life. In the power of creation that's way faster and has a natural high of intensity, high dynamic that's without any alterations of the self. You won't need drugs, you won't need false chemicals. You will start to dive into your natural chemicals, into your tones, your tunes, your modes, and feel yourself an instrument that reflects and is creating with others. It's not just obstructing to be known, projecting to be known, but taking from all to bring this to the game board. Bye.